Hello guys, welcome to this channel, and I'm excited to do this video. Top 14 movies of all time. Not much to say. Check out Stranger Things, Fantastic Beasts, She-Hulk, all the horror movie reviews, whatever I've been doing recently. And without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna do some honorable mentions, just very fast, and that's it. And then ranking. Starting with our honorable mentions, we have Jurassic Park and The Godfather. Those are two movies. They didn't quite make the cut. I love them both dearly. The Godfather might get me some heat, or it's still 15 and 16. They're basically tied, but so I don't really know where they'd rank. But next time I update the list, maybe 20, they'll be on it. Just saying. So let's get into the actual top 14. Starting off at number 14, my 14th favorite movie of all time is A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is my personal favorite slasher. I've always liked this one a bit more than movies like Halloween, Scream, Friday the 13th films. I've never been as into those. This one, I think what's cool about it is that Wes Craven understands the human psychology. Like, we have to sleep, we should stay awake, but we kind of can't. Even coffee won't help. I feel like the way he just understands the psychology and what scares us, what sort of enlightens us, and all of that. It just makes for such a great movie. The characters are great, whether it's Johnny Depp's introduction, his little kill there with the bed is fantastic. Heather Langenkamp playing Nancy Thompson, one of my favorite final girls. And I think the whole sequence with like the Home Alone at the end, that's just fantastic stuff. She is afraid of Freddy, but she also is able to stand up to him, and that's kind of very powerful. Like, I don't know if powerful is the right word, 'cause it's not really played like that, but you know what I mean. So, overall, love this movie to death. Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, very creepy, very sort of, just, there's some, like, bunch of gross scenes, like when he's cutting off his face, when there's just a bunch of, like, gross scenes that are just kind of thrown in there. But for the movie, they are fantastic. Kills are amazing. The bed, the one with the roof on the ceiling, why did I say roof? That one's fantastic. The bed one, obviously, is great. The one where he chokes the guy. The two at the end, but the ending is kind of what makes me hold it back from putting this a little bit higher, because it kind of butchered it a little bit. I don't hate it. I don't really like it either, so I don't know, I'm kind of mixed on that. So I love this movie. Characters are amazing, kills are amazing. The story, I think it's just very cool. It's just clever because we have characters like Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, where some characters tend to just make stupid decisions, like forget to actually kill them. Specifically, I mentioned this in my Halloween review, like where Laurie Strode should have killed Michael Myers. You can't really make that mistake with Freddy Krueger, and that's why I think Wes Craven's been my favorite horror director. I love this movie. It's amazing. It's my number 14 and favorite slasher. Love it. Coming in number 13 is going to be Captain America: The Winter Soldier, my favorite MCU movie, obviously. I am only including one movie per franchise. I didn't mention this earlier, but it's because I don't want this to get littered by Star Wars, Terminator, and MCU, I guess. So yeah, this is my favorite MCU movie. I've always gone back between this, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Avengers Infinity War. But when we keep see here, the action sequences are amazing, the story's amazing, the characters are well done, they have good character arcs where Steve realizes that the world will always be the same, and that not to always trust the government, and that no one's always has good agendas, and especially as it leads into Age of Ultron, Civil War, it just works so well. It's kind of like a bridge point in many ways. All the action sequences are great, the car chase, the one with the Nick Fury, the one on the bridge with the elevator fight, obviously. I think the final battle, not my favorite, but I think it's great. And what they do with him and Bucky, where he doesn't want to kill Bucky, and that Bucky's lost his memory, and they kind of reunite in a way. They just do that just so well. The villain, played by Robert Redford, is great. I think Nick Fury, this is his best yet performance, I guess. I don't know how to word that. I like what they do with Natasha. I like the ending where S.H.I.E.L.D., all the secrets are dumped on the internet, and then takes down S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra with it, and leads into Age of Ultron, where the Avengers are kind of sort of instructed by an organization there, freelancing, and then they cause them to make a ton of mistakes. Just the way this movie sets everything up for the rest of the MCU, I just think it's fantastic. And it's one of those movies that I kind of forget that how much I really like it, and how much the story really works. Because, well, I don't really forget, but I kind of understand, like, I've never quite known why until I realized it's just fantastic. The action sequence is amazing. It's just nothing I really even would say I'm mixed about. The Brock Rumlow character, I like. Chris Evans is great in the role, as always. And it's just a fantastic movie. Coming number 12 is going to be Rocky, my favorite sports movie of all time. And I think the cool thing about sports movies is a lot of the best ones that it's not about the sport. It's about a character growing, and for this, the best underdog story of all time. I think most people can probably agree on this. It's about him just finding love, finding friendship with some other people, just rising up to become the star boxer. And he was a low-level boxer at the beginning of the movie, but then he just rose up through a bunch of great training sequences, and specifically with him running, obviously. I love all the stuff with him, like punching all the meat, covered in blood, sweat, all of that. It's just a great movie. I think everyone knows why this movie is fantastic. Oh, he's also in the one-arm push-ups. I don't know, I do workouts a lot, so I love this movie. It's just amazing. The fight at the end, and the best part about it is that it's not about the fight itself. It's about a character overcoming challenges in life, and it's just like kind of the finale of it all, and I think that's what's great about it. Even though it doesn't have the great sound effects of the later fights, which, okay, that's fair. I think it's just an amazing fight, him overcoming. And I like how it's kind of a two-parter to Rocky 2, and yeah, so obviously all that. Sylvester Stallone plays his character well. I think he was homeless when the script was written or something. I'm not 100% sure about that, but then he bought the script, he wanted to star in the role, or star in the movie, and then it just ended up being one of the best movies of all time, and it's just fantastic. This movie's amazing. Even though I think I could have probably thrown in Rocky 4, which I do think is the one I've rewatched quite a bit more, or Rocky 4 is probably the one I would probably have thrown in there instead. But really, when I think of just a better movie, this is a better movie, if I'm gonna be honest. Character's great. The fact that Rocky found love, just it all just works. I love this movie. I think everyone knows why this movie's amazing. It's so highly acclaimed even today, and it started one of the best franchises of all time. Number 11, crap. Coming in number 11 is Superman the movie. I think this movie's fantastic. I've grown up with it. It's amazing. Just what makes it work is just Clark's character arc as he progresses, as he gets older, realizes he has to step into motion and become this hero. And so he moves to the city, becomes a reporter, and just the way this movie plays out, it's just so well done. Really, Superman doesn't even go into Metropolis until like 45, almost an hour into the movie, and I think even before that, it's just fantastic because you have the opening sequence where Jor-El, played by Marlon Brando, is like talking to Zod and all of his other guys, and then they're sent to the Phantom Zone, and then Krypton's being destroyed. It's not the fastest paced movie out there. It's actually fairly slow paced, but the way everything plays out, even though the special effects they're dated, but it's the late 70s, what you expect. So I think this movie is fantastic. Lex Luthor makes for a good villain in that whole scene with the kryptonite. It's just fantastic. I'd also kind of throw Superman 2 in here. I think they're both really good. I like this one just a bit more just because I think I love the beginning arc. But I think the second one has a bit more of the action that you'd enjoy. But I just think this one's just a bit better. So overall, the final battle's great where he has to save all the people in California from Lex Luthor destroying pretty much and nuking or whatever he's trying to do. This is also another movie I haven't seen in a while. So, yeah, I love this movie to death. It's always been one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I used to have it a little bit higher, but I just think there are just other movies that are better. It ages pretty well, and it's really what kind of pushed comic book movies into serious territory, whereas before that, there was like the Batman stuff from like the 60s, and it was goofy as hell, but now we have a serious comic book movie, and it really laid the foundation for pretty much a lot of things. So this movie is very influential. It's fantastic. And I just love it. It's fantastic. Lex Luthor he's not my favorite version of Lex, well, I would take him over Jesse Eisenberg any day of the week. So, yeah. Christopher Reeve is my favorite Superman, probably. Henry Cavill's great, but I just think he just plays such a classic Superman and fun Superman. And the score is amazing. It's flawless. One of the best movie scores of all time. One of the best movie themes of all time. Just amazing. Love this movie. Coming in number 10, literally right above it, The Dark Knight. It's amazing. I love it. Joker, Heath Ledger, where do I even begin? He's so maniacal, so like fun at the same time, and he just blends the two so together. It's not...
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. It's gone.
And compared to other people, like, he's not someone you'd expect to play the Joker. Compared to like Jared Leto, where people thought he would be amazing, but he ended up being such a weird Joker. And anyway, enough about that. So, this movie's amazing. Christian Bale is amazing as Bruce Wayne. He's in Batman. I think his Batman voice is still a little over the top, but I think his Bruce Wayne is fantastic. He is the best version of Bruce Wayne, and that's what's great about this. And also love all the action sequences. The car chase is amazing. The opening sequence at the bank is amazing. The whole thing with the garages right after that is fantastic. Every action sequence in this movie is amazing. It's immaculate. I love this movie to death. And also the Harvey Two-Face plotline, where he is like one of the most noble people in Gotham. The guy they think would save Gotham from all the crime ends up unlike a linear spiral or a math. Never mind. He's on a spiral down to and just a descent to madness, and the way it all plays out, just fantastic. Like his whole plot line, where he is kind of driven by the Joker, but also driven by his sort of cause involving chance, flips a coin to decide some minor things. But with that, he also had a moral compass. But then his descent to madness made him just a character that was just filled with so much rage and anger. But it would have been interesting if they kept him alive to see him kind of falling through all the mobs in Gotham City. So it's an interesting thing about, but it is what it is. I kind of feel the same way about the Joker, but rest in peace, Heath Ledger. So amazing movie, amazing action sequences. Really no issues. I think the way Christopher Nolan was able to blend crime thriller or crime drama with superhero comic book characters, he just did it perfectly. Like, it's practically flawless, whereas the first one was kind of an origin story and based on a little Chinese kung fu stuff like at the beginning, but then kind of turned into a bit of a crime film. But that one felt more like a comic book movie. This one felt like a crime thriller with comic book characters. That's kind of how if I told someone to describe the Dark Knight, I'd say it's not really a superhero movie. It's a crime thriller, comic book characters, Batman thrown in there. I love this movie. It's amazing. Comes in at number 10. I mean, number 9 is going to be Goodfellas. Just my favorite mob movie of all time, plain and simple. Based on a true story about this guy, Henry Hill, who wanted to become a mobster or a gangster since a kid, because that was even more so than president of the United States, and that he rises up to basically the top of the mob. I mean, not quite the top, but near the top, and then it trickles down on his life as everything starts to kind of implode on him as the movie goes on, and just the way it all plays out, it's just a fantastic. Some movies that are pretty long kind of have a trouble keeping me invested in there, specifically ones that are like not action based. This movie just keeps me there the entire time, and I just love it, especially once you get to the end with the helicopters following him and they're kind of like, what is going on, and then realize what is going on, and then the way it all pays off is just fantastic. Very, very well done, even though it's not the most exciting of payoffs in this, but he realizes that being in the mob wasn't bad. It was putting a strain on his life, so it was either risk his own life or risk everyone else's, and he made the selfish decision essentially. So the way it all played out is amazing. The standout here is Joe Pesci. He's amazing as Tommy, with just how crazy and maniacal he is, but also how funny he is at the same time. I mean, he like shoots a guy in the foot at a random bar, saying some stories that are wildly just crazy. So I just love this guy. He's amazing. Robert De Niro as Jimmy Conway is just playing it just so smooth and just playing it amazing. He's doing his shtick, and it's obviously great. He's the king of mob movies practically. He does amazing. But I think also kind of not exactly a sleeper hit, but Ray Liotta as Henry Hill is fantastic. I mean, I'm not exactly familiar with what he did outside of this movie, but he's dramatic when he needs to be. He's just great in the role. Pretty simple. Just what an actor should be, I guess. But also the way his life plays out essentially is kind of just going through his life, where he gets a girlfriend, he gets married, has kids, just the way it all plays out is just fantastic. And it's one of those movies where like every single scene matters. Like, I mean, it's not like one of those movies where you have to pay attention to every single scene, I'd say, to not understand the rest of the movie. But I think every single scene matters for the outcome of the end of the movie. And I mean, it's not like the big twist reveal or anything. It's just like simple. It's a pretty simple ending, I guess. But fantastic movie. I love it. It's amazing. Go check it out if you haven't. Just some fun sequences. And personal favorite sequences, like the sequence where he's walking down that hallway with Karen, I guess, saying hi to people. I don't know. There's just so many great scenes and sequences. It's just a fantastic movie. I love it. Coming in number 8, my personal favorite Christopher Nolan movie, Inception. I think this has always been my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, and it always will be my favorite Christopher Nolan. Pretty much flawless. It's not the most rewatchable movie. Granted, I have not actually watched it since like January of last year, but whatever. I still love it. Amazing story where it's about going into dreams, obviously. Everyone knows this. I wonder what the theater experience would have been like. Like, what is that? And just the effects of like the bending worlds and all the upside down stuff. Not upside down, but like where people are fighting on ceilings. That's all amazing. The first half where it's kind of explaining all the dream stuff, and then you have the second half where it goes into kind of action heist mode. And it's just so fun. It's so interesting, and the way everything plays out is just so cool. It's just an interesting movie to think about. This movie kind of leaves you speechless by the end, where it kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger, like, well, did he actually make it out? Did he not? It sets up sort of an idea and then pays it off in the end, and it, with what the movie set up, it feels like it stays in the logic, which I feel like Christopher Nolan has having a lot of trouble with some of his latest stuff, like Tenet. I'm looking at you, and yeah, I love this guy. Memento, Prestige. I like Insomnia personally. The whole Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Interstellar. The other ones I'm not a big fan of, just Dunkirk and Tenet, really. So yeah, I love this movie. It's amazing. If you've seen it, you know why. Leonardo DiCaprio is amazing as the lead role, and just I think playing a character who has a bunch of like mystery behind him, with surrounding his girlfriend or wife Mal, and then he also has kids back at home, and also what's it called? I think Tom Hardy is very fun in that, and it's great. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's amazing. Everyone in this movie is amazing, and just great cast, stellar performance, especially Cillian Murphy. Love this movie. Amazing sequences, just so fun. It's just a movie that kind of leaves you speechless at the end, and that's what's so cool about it. I love it. Great action sequences. Just classic Nolan, and I love Nolan's style. So yeah, coming in number 7 is gonna be The Matrix. What is there to say about this movie? Amazing action, amazing characters, just amazing fight choreography, amazing set pieces, great effects, a little bit dated, but whatever. I think Neo, played by Keanu Reeves. I don't love Keanu Reeves as an actor, but I think he does a good job here, even though, yeah. Lawrence Fishburne as Morbius. Every line he says sticks with you. Everything he does sticks in your head. It's just all amazing. Same goes with Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. He's just great at playing villains. No exception here. Menacing when he needs to be. And it's just perfect. The way he says Mr. Anderson, it's fantastic. And obviously, I think Carrie-Anne Moss as Trinity is good. Joe Pantoliano as Cypher. I probably butchered that last name, but whatever. As Cypher, I think he kind of brings an interesting sort of perspective on this, where he has been in the battle against the machines for, he said, 9 years, and then just wants to be done with it, wants to go back into the Matrix where he actually can enjoy himself. I think that was very interesting and very well done. Everything about this movie is just great. It's a shame that the sequel sucked ass, because this movie was just fantastic. Obviously, all amazing action sequences, the hallway or great hall security room action. I don't know what you call it. The sequence before the elevator. You know what I'm talking about. The amazing sequence with the interesting music. Love all of that. That's amazing. It's just one of the best action sequences of all time. It's just to get to one place. That's what's so cool about it. When Neo does this thing, trying to not get hit by the bullet. It's amazing, and it's just such a famous sequence that, I mean, everyone knows it at this point. Obviously, all the fight sequences are kind of inspired by John Woo or other martial arts stuff, just well done. It's just like a mix of a bunch of styles, like the Terminator, John Woo movies, other martial arts sort of stuff, high concept sci-fi, and it's just brings up and then makes a sort of high concept sci-fi action movie, and it's just amazing. It's practically flawless. I mean, like the first half answers this question of what is the Matrix, and it does it perfectly. It just outright tells you without any sort of ambiguity or. And then the second question is Neo the one, and it answers that really well. This movie is just done so well. It's endlessly rewatchable. I love it. Amazing. Coming in number 6 is going to be Aliens. What is there to say? It's amazing. Ripley's arc, where after Alien, she's on her ship. It's been like 57 years or something, and now all her friends are all dead at this point, I think. And then so she's now in an arc where she's having a bunch of bad dreams and nightmares like every single night, and then she decides to go get a crew and go fight the aliens, and just all the Xenomorph Carnage candy and all of the action in this movie. It's just all very well produced, and in the end it's so satisfying when Ripley destroys the Queen Xenomorph and sits back, and now she can rest without any nightmares. Fantastic. Just perfect ending. I haven't seen Alien 3, but I kind of want to, because I don't want it to ruin this movie, because I love it so much. All the characters, I think, are amazing. Ripley, obviously. Hicks, played by Michael Biehn. Michael Biehn's a fantastic actor in these James Cameron movies, specifically The Abyss, this, and The Terminator. I think he does a fantastic job here. Bill Paxton is fantastic. I think Lance Henriksen is good. I think that's the entire all-star cast, I guess. I don't know. So, obviously, all the Xenomorph Carnage is fun. You have just the great score from James Horner. I read forgot to mention, a lot of the scores in these movies are just amazing, no exception here. Just the theme where like it plays as the xenomorphs are sort of attacking and just whenever tension is going on. So in many ways, like it's just kind of pounding, but at the same time kind of quiet in many ways. It's just a very kind of, I guess, ominous theme. I don't know. So just amazing. The fact that's you have all of the xenomorph action sequences are amazing. The effects look fantastic today, and the end sequence where Ripley takes down the Queen Xenomorph is just fantastic.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Oh, not only is a boss fight, but also because kind of Ripley's found this surrogate daughter in Newt, she now is sort of battling for her essentially daughter as the Queen Xenomorph is fighting for her daughter. So it's like a mother to a mother essentially in many ways, even though it's a xenomorph that's crazy as hell. So yeah, then when she gets in the loader and says, it's just amazing, and then dumps the xenomorph out into space, and then there, bye-bye, movie ends. Amazing. Just classic stuff. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch it. Maybe watch Alien first. It's also really good, but I don't think it's quite as good as Aliens. I mean, two types of people, obviously. Alien or Aliens. Aliens for me. But Alien is still a great movie. I just prefer the action side of things over the sci-fi and slow slasher in space kind of thing. I don't know. Just me. Coming in number 5 is going to be Back to the Future. Just what a perfect movie, honestly. You have just everything that's sort of set up in the beginning, and every single little detail is kind of brought back to in the 1955 time, I guess, and it's just so well done. Even like an incest plotline kind of rolls over your head and it just doesn't bother you. I don't know. So overall, characters are great, especially Michael J. Fox is just so fun as Marty McFly, and also Crispin Glover as George McFly, just kind of a very weird guy, and just playing this character is just so fun. The DeLorean, obviously, it's iconic. I think Christopher Lloyd's fun. All the sequences, like the skateboard sequence where he's trying to outmaneuver all the bullies or whatever, or the insane people, I guess. So this movie's just fun. It's endlessly rewatchable. Just many iconic and amazing sequences. Like the dance sequence, the whole bit with the clock tower at the end of the movie. The Johnny B. Good sequence, obviously. And just like there's kind of two sides to this movie. There's him trying to get his parents back together and him trying to get back to 1985. And just the way everything plays out, I just love this movie. Every scene is fantastic. It's perfect. It's amazing. Literally just 4 movies I like better. It's as simple as that. Just perfect. If you haven't seen this movie, again, go watch it. Now, maybe finish this video, go watch it, and then say what you think in the comments below. Anyway, yeah. Before I continue to the top 4, you're welcome to share your list in the comments below. I'd be very interested to see what you guys' favorite movies are. Or you can just say some of your favorite movies if you don't have a list. That's okay. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And without further ado, let's continue this video. Coming number 4 is going to be Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is my favorite adventure movie of all time by far. Last Crusade you can also kind of throw in there. I don't think it's quite as good just because I just have so much fun with this movie. Love the opening sequence. Is so classic, so iconic. With every bit of it, it's just amazing. Where he's walking down the temple, spiders are crawling around, have to get over this bridge. The whole scene with the whip and he turns it. Indiana Jones or Harrison Ford turns out. It's just amazing. Harrison Ford is so great in this role. I think this is his best role yet. I like him even more than him and Han Solo, I guess. I don't know. They're very close, but I just think he's way more fun. I think he's just more fun as Indiana Jones. I don't know, just me. And I think the fact that he doesn't like snakes is just a fun character detail, obviously. The villain, not the best out there, but still good. I love the plot line where they have to get the literal Ark of the Covenant and then have to bring it to a museum or something. I don't know. And just the way everything is just done, it's just so perfect. And for being a movie from like 1980, it has extremely fast pacing for that kind of thing. All the action sequences are great. That car chase near the middle / end of the movie is probably the best car chase or any car chase. It's not exactly a car chase or best sort of chase like in any movie, I guess. I'm not saying that for sure, but still, it's amazing stuff. And overall, also the sequence where they're kind of running through that little area in Cairo with the baskets, that's also fun. Also the sequence in Nepal with where they're fighting in the bar, that's also amazing. And just the way everything plays out, it's just such a perfect movie. Every time I watch this movie, I have a very fun time. It's one of the most fun and rewatchable movies like ever made. And I don't really have a reason why this isn't even number one, because it's just that fantastic. Steven Spielberg is a genius in making movies. He does just an amazing job, and the way it ends with one of the most violent, not exactly violent, but one of the most crazy, over the top deaths like ever, where people's heads are melting and exploding. It's hilariously like over the top in a way, and I just love it. It just fits the movie so well. And I think all the characters are just fantastic. Story's fantastic, and just amazing. Spielberg is an amazing director, and this is probably my favorite movie from him. Jurassic Park, I think E.T.'s amazing. Jaws, obviously, just amazing. There's also the score, and one of the best adventure scores of all time. Da 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 da. Yeah, I mean, you know it. It's amazing. Just even like some of the smaller things where it's like da 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 da, like during that little Egypt sequence where they're with the baskets. It's just scores amazing. John Williams is a genius in making scores, and this is the last time we see him on this list. Next time we see John Williams on this list is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back at number 3. Yeah, where to even begin with Empire? Just one of the best coming of age stories as Luke learns to this is essentially his origin story. There's so many amazing sequences like where Leia and Han and C-3PO and Chewbacca are getting chased by TIE fighters into the asteroid fields. It's just just such a swell music behind it that like da 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 da. It's just amazing. It's just an amazing score, and introduces the Imperial March theme, which is iconic. I'd say even more iconic than the Star Wars theme itself, and that's saying a lot. So, obviously, this movie is amazing. I think this is well acclaimed to be probably the best Star Wars movie. I think all of the character arcs that are gone down here are amazing, and we can't not acknowledge the whole scene where it's do or do not, or there is no try, where Yoda's lifting the X-wing out of swamp or whatever, and just an amazing scene. Really, the only reason why it's not even number one is because I think the part of the problem is this movie doesn't exactly stand on its own, and it's not really a detriment to the movie itself because it's so amazing. But like, if I'm gonna watch this movie, I decide I'm just gonna binge the entire trilogy, which I do all the time. So again, not a detriment to the movie, but it's just amazing. Obviously, the lightsaber duel between Vader and Luke, it's amazing. I don't even know why I didn't mention it earlier. It's amazing. Personally, it is my favorite Star Wars lightsaber duel. I would take it because it just has all the great character moments that you need, and the twist is one of the best twist reveals of all time. And I mean, compared to the Revenge of the Sith lightsaber sequence, where the character moments are a lot of sequence. Anyway, there's obviously all of that, all of the Millennium Falcon stuff. It's all fun, it's all enjoyable. I'm just engaged the entire time, and just all the character moments are just amazing. Just an amazing Star Wars movie. Just everything's done so perfectly, and it's probably the best middle chapter of all. Well, obviously it is, of a trilogy, and it's of the best trilogy of all time. I would also throw in A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, probably. I don't like Return of the Jedi quite as much, but I still think it's a fantastic movie. And A New Hope probably would have also made this list if I decided to include from other franchises, but I chose not to because it's only 14 movies, and I didn't want to get dominated by Star Wars, so 1/7 of the list is Star Wars movies. So, yeah. Anyway, love this movie to death. It's amazing. And number 3. Getting up the top 2. This is top number 1, 2. They go back and forth like all the time. But at number 2 is going to be Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Love this movie. Amazing. John Connor, I think, played by Edward Furlong, by far the best version of John Connor. I think a lot of the other versions, Christian Bale's alright, but I think he's by far the best. He encapsulates what you think of John Connor, I guess. Linda Hamilton's as Sarah Connor, just as good as she was in the first one, in a bit of a different arc where she kind of becomes a Terminator at one point in some ways. Arnold Schwarzenegger, amazing as ever. This is my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And yeah, just all the action sequences, like action sequence after action sequence after action sequence. The car chase in like the LA River or whatever, amazing. The sequence at the mental hospital or whatever, amazing. It leads into a car chase. The whole bit where the minigun, amazing. The final battle at the steel factory, amazing. Every action sequence in this movie stands out on its own. All the bits where John is sort of kind of humanizing the Terminator, and just kind of the Terminator becomes a surrogate father in many ways, is perfect. It's just so well done. And all the moments where he's telling the Terminator, trying to get more human traits, trying to be more of like a father to him. Just the way it all plays out, it's like some dynamics you wouldn't really expect. Where like teaching him high fives, teaching him no probella, hasta la vista, baby.
Hasta la vista, baby.
And obviously, it's just all of the lines that Arnold Schwarzenegger delivers. His performance is amazing, and how this character is able to evolve from like this killing machine that's just here to kill people essentially, and now protect John Connor obviously, but now he's essentially evolved into something much more than that. So well done. This movie is amazing. I don't even know how it's not my number one. Obviously, Robert Patrick as the T-1000 iconic. I slightly prefer Arnie as the T-800 in the first Terminator. Obviously, I also love the first Terminator. I don't think it would have quite made this list, but it would have been darn close. I love that movie also. I just think this one's better for obvious reasons, like better action, better effects. And also, I think the effects in this movie are amazing. No one quite acknowledges that. Like, the T-1000 effects are so well done. Like, they're perfect. And just the way he's kind of coming out of the floor. And it is more of an action movie than a horror movie like the first. The first one kind of felt like a slasher in many ways. This one feels more like an action movie, and nothing wrong with that. It's to its advantage, I'd say. Every action sequence stands out. It's amazing. Obviously, every character is amazing. All the little elements where they're kind of changing history and trying to prevent it by getting the guy to destroy all the stuff in the lab, just so well done. And this movie's endlessly rewatchable. I rewatch this like once every like couple of months at least, and it's in contention for obviously it's in contention for number one. But my favorite movie of all time at number one is Die Hard. It's so close, but I had to put this on number one because everything from the first 15-20 minutes of the movie has something paid off. Like the whole thing where it's like make fists or your toes, obviously. That's paid off. All the gunplay, like whether it's the sequence on the roof, him jumping off the roof, that was in my intro for a little while. All the lines, obviously.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Also, welcome to Party Pal. Just so many great lines, and just such an amazing movie. Alan Rickman playing Hans Gruber is amazing. All of the characters just kind of stand out in their own right. I think all the henchman characters, they have some sort of fun to them, like the guy stealing the Crunch Bar or whatever. I can relate. The tech guy that has some sort of fun to him. Just all the characters have some sort of edge to them. It just makes for just more fun and more fun characters, I guess. And it's just everything about this movie is so perfect. Sequences where John McClane is just crawling around are just amazing, and how he's kind of the every guy in many ways, where he's not like an Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, just this big buff guy ready to pretty much rip guys in half, more or less. He's just a normal cop, just sort of brought into the scenario that he was just at the right place at the right time, or wrong place at the wrong time. And also the Al Powell character is just amazing, the way everything plays out with that. And as the movie goes along, it just gets better and better. All of the action sequences stand out in their own right. Everything's amazing. It's perfect. It's obviously my number one of all time. If you haven't seen this movie, go check it out. Right after this video, obviously, but... It's just pitch perfect for me. It's always been. Ever since I saw it the first time I watched it, I loved it. Obviously, the FBI agents are fun characters, I guess. I can understand why the Dwayne T. Robinson character can kind of be a bit on the edge sometimes, but he doesn't really. That whole thing has never really bothered me. But just Bruce Willis as this character is just amazing. And even some of the sequels I really do. I've always really liked Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's nice because this movie, obviously, but really, I still really like it. And yeah, so this movie's fantastic. No issues there. The Al Powell character is amazing. Just all the sequences and scenarios that John McClane has to be put up through is just very well done. It's just like they thought the script is just so perfect. It's just probably the best script of all time because it's filled with fun, quirky lines, just fun sequences, and it's endlessly rewatchable. It's a movie I try to watch every single Christmas, even though I'm Jewish, but besides the point. Just amazing. Perfect. It comes in at number one. I am so tired. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm glad I did this video. I'm actually excited to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Adios.